Hi. Welcome back to another episode of VCTV, which is the Venture Capital TV. And it's from La Token, as all of us know. And it's a little La Token family reunion, I would say. I love to have you back on VCTV all the time to discuss all different topics that is related to investments, VCs, startups, entrepreneurs. So yeah, this is a show where we interact, we discuss, we brainstorm, we discuss ideas, share information. We have people from all over the world. We have people from India, we have people from US, Dubai, Middle East, and whatnot. I'm the host. By the way of introduction, I'm the host and moderator of VCTV. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm based here in Singapore. I actually, I'm the regional director of La Token as well, which is obviously hosting VCTV. I have been hosting VCTV since over 2 years now, like probably over 1 year, sorry. I started off in early 2020 for Lori, who is just new here. So yeah, so what happens with this on the show, we have a quick round of intro of our speakers, then we deep dive into the topic. So today's topic, we're going to be discussing about how to market your startup. Before that, I'd like to have a quick round of intro of all the speakers today joining us. Okay, I'd like to start with Lori.
Thank you for having me, Sunny. I'm happy to be here. I am Lori Cecil Bonani. I build and grow companies' reputations, thereby increasing awareness, business results, and credibility. And you can think of me as a non-traditional publicist for companies as early as startups and as established as Global 500.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lori. Thanks for joining us on VCTV. I have Chilo as well. I think it's better to have this view. Yes. Thank you, Lori, for joining us. I think this is the first session on VCTV. And I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun. So next, I have our new guest who just joined, Thilo. Hi, Thilo. How are you?
Hi, very nice to meet you. Glad to be here.
We're starting out. So I just got your message. We're just starting out with introductions. We just had Lori's introduction because she's joining us for the first time. So we'd like to have a quick round of introduction about yourself as well.
Perfect. Yeah, my name is Thilo Bono. I'm the founder and CEO of Piabo PR. We are here based in Germany, and we are the leading technology PR firm. So we're helping clients like Stripe, GitHub, Silicon Valley Bank, Shopify, and many others with all kind of public relations, social media, content marketing, influencer relations, and working also for a lot of European tech heavyweights, of course. So I think for this topic today, how to market your startup, that's our daily bread and butter business here. And as we are 100% focused exactly on the startup, so hopefully I can give some maybe interesting hints and advice from our experience. By myself, I'm also an active business angel and investor, so also giving back to the community that we are cater. So yeah, check out if you want to learn more also on our website, piabo.net. I think you can find there also more information.
Thank you so much, Thilo. Yes, we are all excited to hear your insights about this topic today. Great. Next, I have our core family members, Vanjana and Tushar. Let's start with Vanjana. Vanjana, let's have a quick round of intro.
Thank you, Sunny. So first of all, I would like to thank the entire VCTV family for organizing this La Token VCTV event and having me here. Thank you, Sunny, Abhibek, Hasmik, Carol, for putting in so much efforts to create this wonderful show where people can connect globally. Coming to my intro, I had my own family office in Singapore and Jakarta. I worked as an investment banker and advisor to family offices and angel investors in Jakarta, Indonesia, helping startups from a diverse background from fintech, B2B tech, all the way to consumer startups. I was raising funds for them and providing them with a range of services just as Convanto does today. After 15 years of staying in Singapore and Jakarta, I came back to India I did investments for a bit, then returned to advisory, and that is when Convanto was founded. Today, Convanto is one of the most well-known boutique investment banks in India, led by a female founder. And I'm also a venture advisor with Loyal VC, the INSEAD-led Canadian VC fund, having a core portfolio of over 160 investments in more than 35 countries. I'm also a partner with GST Venture Studios, a Silicon Valley based venture builder. And over the years, I've arranged funding for startups and growth stage companies in diverse sectors like edutech, fintech, consumer B2C and B2B, agri-tech, health tech, food tech, disruptive tech, deep tech, as well as non-tech sectors. And I would recommend all of you to have a look at my website for the wonderful testimonials written by my client. This month, I've been nominated as the top 10 women leaders in Wealth Management 2021. And also, I've been covered by two magazines featuring India and the global hues. My expert opinion is always sought by leading business houses like VCTV and Business World. I've given 155 plus talks all over the world, and these talks can be accessed on YouTube and VCTV streaming sites. We are sector agnostic. We do $1 million to $25 million, and we are connected with 300 plus investors globally. And thank you once again, VCTV, for having me here.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Vandana, for that introduction. Yeah, we love you on VCTV and to hear your insights. Thank you so much, Vandana. Next up, Tushar.
Thank you, Sunny. Welcome to the new joinees today. It's been a very interesting discussions on VCTV since I think almost about to be a year now, and
Yes.
having appeared in more than 75 to 80 talks, it's always a pleasure with all of you. Myself, Tushar Kansal from Consultancy Ventures. I am a venture advisor with Loyal VC, the INSEAD-led Canadian VC fund. I'm also a partner with GSD Venture Studios, a Silicon Valley-based venture builder. I manage Consultancy Ventures, a company into investment management since 6 to 7 years now. We have good relationships with more than 400 global investors from India, Singapore, Dubai, US, UK, Hong Kong, and so on. And we love getting equity funding for startups, and we are also into getting funding for venture capital funds. And happy to be here. And always, when Sunny is the moderator, it's always very lively and exciting. So look forward to an enriching discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Tushar. I'm trying to figure how to. Okay, thank you, Tushar, for your kind words. You and Vandana have been the core family members. You've been, I think, with VCTV since last year, as you said, over 1 year, both of you. So yeah, thanks for being and being in support of VCTV. So great, thank you so much. Now, last but not least, I have Keshav. Hi, Keshav. Welcome back. How are you?
Hi, Sunny. It's always a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you. Thank you for having me over. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Channa Keshavadya. I go by Keshav. I'm based in Dubai. I moved here a couple of years ago after spending 15 years in London. Background-wise, I'm an investment banker. Work with work with small, mid-sized businesses and PEVC funds on pretty much the whole spectrum of corporate finance, mergers and acquisitions, growth strategy, marketing strategy, and pretty much the whole suite of services that businesses need, all the way from pre-seed to IPOs. I've had three stints in my career. The first 10 years were with large investment banks, Morgan Stanley, HSBC, Lloyds Banking Group, to name a few. The next 5 years were fairly entrepreneurial. So I've been a founder on 20 occasions in the past, so I know the first-hand experience of what it takes to grow businesses, to raise capital, to sell products and services. More importantly, when to pull the plug, and close or exit businesses. The last 5 years with Aran Corporate, we're a team of 50 people now, based in 20 different countries, and work with small, mid-sized businesses. Pleasure to be here, and looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Keshav, to be on VCTV. And again, as I said, the family is growing, in numbers. So Keshav is another new member of the core VCTV member. So, okay, thank you so much, Keshav. I just see another core member just joined, who's just been with us for a long time, since last year as well, Harsh. Good to see you back. I was expecting you to be here. So, how are you? We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Harsh. Actually, no. So you can fix your volume, maybe try logging out and in, and then we just take the first round of question. Okay, great. I'm just conscious of the time as well. So just stick to the timing as well. So today's topic is about how to market your startup. We all know marketing is very essential for all businesses, right? But however, it's even more important for startups, for the obvious reasons, right? Unless people know about your startup, your new company, your new venture, and what it offers, beg your pardon, so they probably won't buy your products or services. Obviously, you're offering services or you're offering products, right? So it's very, very crucial for startups. So we come across all type of businesses. Most of them are concerned with growth, but none are more hungry for growth than startups. Startups are always hungry for growth, right? So whether it's the next big software as a service like a SaaS company or a new chain of ice cream shops or whatever, retail outlet, a startup's a completely different animal when it comes to marketing. Yes, it is indeed. So let's just discuss about from an investor perspective and also a startup perspective, how to market, how to promote, because without the much necessary marketing and promotions, it's not easy to grow, scale, be there. It's a very competitive space. If you're in a startup, if you are a new startup, or even you are a growth stage startup, to be in the market, to be in the space, it is very key to be very relevant as well, right? So in the middle of the competition, every day there is another startup who's ready to kill your ideas, take your space. So let's start with Lori with her insights. So what do you think? What do you think, Lori? What's a fundamental rule to market a business as a startup?
Sure. So it really depends on the goal. So for what I do in the startup space is that I help companies secure their next round of funding. So in terms of marketing, what are those goals and how are you going to get there? My background is in marketing, PR, business development, and advertising, so I can bring all of those pieces to the table. But in terms of how a startup will go about doing it, it depends really on the sector. It also depends where the market is, how many investors, where are they in their process. On the media side, certainly startups are very eager to get press, and they're not going to get press just because they exist. So really being able to craft a story, and that storytelling piece of it is really important. And so I think being able to go about that is really having a really clear roadmap. So if you were going to go on a road trip and you were going to hop in your car and just aimlessly drive, that's great. But if you get in your car and you have a destination, it's much easier to figure out that path ahead of you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Opening inside, sorry. We have this, sort of overlapping noises. Thank you for putting yourself on mute. Thanks. Harsh, okay, let's go to you because I hope can you please Stuart?
I hope you can hear me now better, right?
Yes, please. We can indeed.
Perfect. So sorry I got a little delayed. Gym time got a bit extended, so that's why I couldn't make it on time. So just a short intro about myself. My name is Harsh Etia. I'm a venture partner with R Ventures and founder of Startup Hackers. I help early stage startups raise funds, as well as help them through marketing, growth consultancy, and strategic consultancy on how to grow their startup faster. That is a short summary of what I do. Should I
All
take
right.
this question as well?
Yes, please. Let's just start with you. I mean, second go next with you, please.
Perfect. So most of the startups which I essentially work with, right, the biggest thing which I kind of try to focus on is to get the messaging right, because what happens is the biggest marketing process, you need to find the right message which clicks to the right audience, right? Once you do that, the rest is kind of taken care of. And most startups kind of struggle to find the right messaging for the right audience, and that is where most startups get shut down. So it's extremely important to razor pinpoint your audience, that this is the specific audience which I want to target, and be very specific about it, right? Saying that my target audience is from someone from 22 to 60 years old who has a corporate job, who does this, that doesn't make any sense. It needs to be more specific than that, say 25 to 35, 35 to 45, specific demographic, right? Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 city, which specific area you're looking for, which specific geography you're looking for, what is their subconscious buying triggers, right? That is the most crucial element of it. And kind of utilizing those kind of terminologies in your marketing copy, in your marketing collateral, kind of focusing on a one word, one sentence tagline, which something people can directly relate to. That is something which is extremely important, right? Amazon is supposed to be the everything store. So
True.
that is extremely important to get that messaging right, because if that messaging is right, people tend to focus on doing Facebook ads, Google ads, all that stuff, but all those are just channels. First you need to focus on getting your messaging right first.
Absolutely. It's very, very important. Branding, messaging is very important. Thank you so much, Harsh, for that. Next up, Sheila.
Same question? Or?
Yes, please. Let's have the same question with all the
Okay,
speakers. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, I think messaging is clearly important, but I feel also that consistency is key, right? And that you, I mean, you see startups that say this week the one story and next week another story, and the one founder is talking about this topic on the stage, and the next one is talking on the other conferences on something totally different. And when you see the really great leaders, they are very consistent with their message and what they say, how they present themselves. And even, I mean, when you think about Steve Jobs, how what they're wearing, right? This is like turtleneck and jeans and sneakers, etc. So it's not just a look and feel, but also that you really kind of, like in sales, right? Always telling the same story, be very consistent, very precise, and also at the same time being patient and persistent at the same time. So patient in a way that you have to understand it takes time until journalists get your message, until they're picking something up. It can be sometimes months or years. But if you come to the point, then of course you are known for something that you are, when they think, oh, I write an article about, let's say, AI in the healthcare sector, right? And there was this one guy who told me the story that I saw at the conference, right? You have to kind of be a magnet for a certain topic. And that's why this is so important, what Harsh says about the being clear in positioning and messaging, because only when you are known for something and if you stand for something, then people recognize you and say, oh, there was this one lady who always talked about AI, whatever, in the smart manufacturing environment or something like that, right? And I think this is super, super important to have this in mind. And but at the same time, have in mind that it takes time, and you have to be patient and persistent at the same time.
Absolutely. I think that's even more important if you are a startup, you're raising your baby. Yeah, absolutely. So Tushar, coming over to you. So as per you, what are the marketing strategies personally appeal to you as an investor?
When I had started out with my own startup in 2014, the first thing I did was I did a course on digital marketing. So there was a person who was pretty specialized, and I used to ask him all kinds of questions, and And because I felt that, having a digital startup, the core is digital marketing, and if you
Right.
don't understand it, how far can you go? So the thing is, traditional marketing, traditional digital marketing, like emailing, like social media, like SEO, and we are evolving on in that direction. So nowadays WhatsApp is a very favorite tool of marketing. But having said that, when we say marketing for a startup, we are typically referring to low budget or zero budget kind of marketing. So, I was once seeing Heinz, the FMCG company, how they go about their marketing. And, although they have a big budget, but they put a lot of focus on content marketing. So, Google also, its algorithm, it wants you to produce and share fresh content. And because it's the backbone of so much on the digital side, I mean Google. So, if you have to create a Google based marketing system, you have to have fresh content. And as some of the panelists said here about consistency in messaging, so
Yeah.
definitely, that is one part. The other thing is that people are 4 times more likely to buy a product when it is referred to them by a friend. So your
Ah,
best customers can be your referrers. You can go via the referral marketing route. And never forget the value of PR, public relations. I've there was a fintech company which has raised $1.63 million, and they have the budget for PR. But this guy very smartly kept a director of PR, a young girl, and I saw so much amazing PR in the best platform. So I called him and I said that, it's amazing that, he just kept a director of PR and one person below her and two-member team, and the articles, they were on the best platforms, Economic Times, and it was like amazing. So and I also have another example. American Swan is a company which got $20 million from Astro Group Malaysia. Astro Group Malaysia is the funding arm of Maxis Group Malaysia. And out of $20 million, the company burnt $12 million on Facebook and Google, and it shut down. So, if you want to be lazy, you can just keep on spending money on Google and Facebook and the big platforms. But, if you are not using growth hacks, you are not using smart content, you are not using smart distribution, then, it's going to be a pretty expensive affair.
I think, Tushar, I was actually about to come to that next. So it's all good to use all this Facebook and all those Instagram, Twitter, to market your product, but obviously that's a budget, right? So startups, everything is tight, right? Everything is tight. Oh, my next question was that. But anyways, thanks for bringing that to the to the notice. Okay, next I'd like to go for Keshav here. I'm going to drag him here. I'm doing the dragging as well as I'm speaking. So Keshav, as for you personally, what are the tips to the startups that you personally would like to give when they are starting out, sort of in the business?
Okay, that's a great question, and I've answered this question using just 2 words. The first is storytelling. Okay, because when you start out as a founder, you start with a story in your mind that, okay, there is a gap in the market and I need to build a product, and that product needs to be sold to someone, and then that product needs to be grown in a certain market and distributed in a certain channel, and so on, right? So it's that story you tell yourself and how convinced you are with that story, which will eventually decide you leaving whatever job you're in and getting out to create that company. right? And then you bring in your co-founders, and it's about telling the same story in a slightly different way with the messaging, etc., to these guys who will join you as co-founders and help with the growth. Then it's another round of storytelling with your angel investors, with your family, friends and family who will invest in your startup. How do you convince them to invest in your business? How do you convince them to back your idea? And then it's another round of storytelling to your clients, to whom you're looking to sell the product. And then as the company grows, you're looking at another series of stories to investors, to partners, to referrers, and what have you, right? So storytelling is one key element. The product, the technology, it's great, but unless you're able to convert that into a story which will benefit the audience, it won't take. So as a startup founder, that is one of the best things you can have in your armory. The second point is the distribution channel. When you have a product, when you've got an MVP, when you've got someone identified to sell to, you need a distribution channel to scale up the company, to scale up that particular product's sales, right? That distribution channel can come from different places. You can either look at setting up your own sales and marketing team who will go out there, look at key accounts, look at positioning the product in a certain market, etc. The 4 P's of marketing, or you can partner with specialist growth marketeers, like a couple of folks on the panel here, or for that matter, partner with a company like LaToken, right? Where startups can look at reaching out to communities, to people who may use the product, who can end up as users or referrers, or for that matter, bring in talent, etc. So that distribution channel is something which will decide the success or failure in the first 12 to 18 months. So that's my take on that. Sorry.
I think absolutely, Keshav. I think very two crucial points. Storytelling, obviously, as a startup founder, the messaging, as others just mentioned, the messaging, the storytelling has to be clear, to the audience, your target audience, right? And number 2 is how to reach out. Now you've identified your market, you've identified your target customer that you want to sell, is the distribution channels, as you rightly said. Very, very important for any startup. And thanks for mentioning LaToken platform. That's why we are a platform where we connect people, and we keep on adding members to our family. Like Keshav has referred another female entrepreneur as well, and she's going to be speaking on another episode of VCTV, moderated by me. I'm very excited about that. Thank you, Keshav, for highlighting that as well. Great. Last but not least, Vandana, let's just hear it from you.
So actually, pretty much all the panelists have covered all the points, but I would like to highlight a few points. Firstly, startups need to find out their target market, target audience, to find their place in the market. Having their website in place with a unique domain name is important also for reaching out to the audience. And after doing this, they can start boosting their posts and have sponsored posts on Instagram, Facebook, and for professional reach, they can do the same for Twitter, LinkedIn. Even Google Ads can help in marketing their products to the target audience and to boost traffic. Now, nowadays, search engine optimization has become so important. And as a startup, there are few basic SEO elements that they can incorporate into their websites to improve their search ranking, like keywords, title tags, meta descriptions, internal links, and high quality original content. Using emails and newsletters is also a tested method of marketing, which startups can use. And, my tips to entrepreneurs and startups is always to have a great and well articulated pitch deck, you have only 90 seconds to capture the attention of your investors, and therefore investing in a good pitch deck is a must. And a video pitch deck is even better, or even have a product video. And also startup needs to have a story because they are selling themselves to the investor. Having their website in order is very essential because that is one of the first thing the investors looks at when they are evaluating their interest in the startup. Now, in case the startup has received any sort of PR or has appeared in any news, then that is something they should really market it, as it helps in ensuring credibility. And I also feel, marketing is one of the most important tools for a startup, not just to ensure that their product reaches the audience, but also for customer retention. And when companies keep marketing themselves, it gives this feeling of constant engagement, and is basically, an ongoing strategy to help sustain the company's presence. Customers also like to associate themselves with particular brands, and marketing can just help you in doing that. And essentially, one aims to market to sell, but it also helps the firm scale up and grow. And ultimately, good marketing has the capacity to leave a long lasting impression on the audience, which is very important in today's market, where brand loyalty is very low compared to before.
Yeah, I think totally agree. Totally agree, Vandana, with your points. So I think all of us have just mentioned like digital marketing, storytelling, distribution channels, right messaging, right content. However, let's just take a step back. We're talking about a startup. Okay, so we have founders who are trying to build something. They're also trying to raise funds. They're also trying to build a product. They're also trying to do marketing. How can they reduce the marketing budget? I mean, obviously they have to take that into account. They don't have a lot of dollars, right? Big dollars, big ticket, big sized, sort of investments to spend on all marketing, promotions, or travel across countries to promote themselves. They're still very early stage. How can they still reduce their marketing budget but still carry out their marketing? So let me start with maybe Lori.
Sure. So I think that there's a correlation between the less money to spend on marketing, the more creative your team needs to be, and just being able to be scrappy about that. So whether that means partnering with a complementary company that might have a similar target, or being able to partner with a company that just might have a complementary product, I think is really important. But one of the things definitely not to skimp on is accessibility, because you don't want to alienate any potential customer. And so making sure that either your content, somebody had mentioned metadata and tagging, and being able to make your content accessible is key, because otherwise you're going to make that audience a little bit smaller, and you'd be alienating people. But I also think that being able to have a small budget really means you need to loop everyone in. So as a communications consultant, when a founder loops me in on day-to-day happenings of the company, I can create stories around those things, certainly. But if I'm only given, a piece of the pie of the knowledge about what's going on in the day-to-day. So if there is, a potential investor, or there is something, I can start thinking about stories, or I could potentially use my network to start thinking about how to loop that in. Or if there's a new piece of, if they went a different way with a product, or something that might be, really small thing to tell somebody that is working with your company, because you only have blinders on that this person is doing this. The best relationships I've had with early stage startups have been when I've been able to have more of a bird's eye view of the whole working of the company, whether it's, a new key hire or potentially a new way that they might be going about building the product. So I certainly think the best use of that money is to ensure that you're looping in the appropriate parties and not just walking around with blinders on thinking that person does this person does this. And I think that exists more than I would like. And I think that there are founders and people just working in startups that just have that mentality. And there's others that really are like, okay, we're all in on all of this. And just having that looped in, even when they have conversations with investors, just hearing that to be able to go and kind of riff off of what the feedback was has always been really crucial. Because I said there is an inverse relationship to the less funding, that the more creative you absolutely need to be.
Totally agree. Thank you, Lori, for just that when you're tight on your budget, you have to be creative for sure. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lori. Next, I'm gonna go Sheila for your insights. I'm gonna drag you here. You're on mute. I think on the screen you're on mute. Let me just unmute yourself. 1 sec. Okay, you go. I've unmuted yourself.
Okay, perfect. That's strange technology, I think with this question of reducing marketing budget, what we actually see more is that always there's a bit the question: should we spend our money actually more towards marketing, performance marketing, or towards PR, social media, etc.? This is the actual question that we are facing much more rather than reducing, because usually companies need them to spend money, of course, to be visible. And I think I always struggling with this situation, because it is not one or the other. It is that you actually need both, right? Both complement each other, and it's not, but one is better than the other. Because I mean, often that underlies more the question: how do we actually manage or measure the impact, right? And I mean, when it comes to PR, public relations, I have to say, I mean, these kind of increased overall brand visibility across also multiple audiences, because often the startup has not just one audience, right? They have employee branding, because nobody knows them. They have to attract talent. You have, on the other hand, investors that you want to attract. You have to also clients, and you have partners, and etc. Right? So there are, of course, multiple. So these kind of brand visibility that you can really laser focus, I think, is very important. On the other hand, also, of course, it increases a pipeline of new business, because when people in their industry magazine read about your software as a service product, etc., of course, that attracts clients, and often also shrinks sales cycles, right? Because when they hear about a product and they're Googling about it, reading a good review or a good article, that helps, of course. And I see also that sales departments often have an easier time closing new business by utilizing these kind of media placements for credibility, that they, for example, taking it and showing at their potential customers, say, have you seen this interview with our CEO or this podcast, things like that, right? And also the advertising or performance marketing spend has, of course, much higher click-through rates if you include, for example, as seen in TechCrunch, for example, or Forbes, or you name it, right? And also when they're sending out, and like, say, a marketing newsletter, and I'm seeing all women featured in here and there, of course it helps. And also these kind of contents are good for your community manager to distribute it across social media, for example, right? So I think it is not the one or the other. It's more like how you smart getting more bang for the buck, how you utilizing the content and the things that you have. And I think, of course, as a startup, you always have to be cautious and to be careful where you spend your money. And what I on top would say, it makes also sense to just test things, right? Take what about $5,000 and let's say, do whatever Google and 5,000 on TikTok and 5,000 on LinkedIn, and then to see what actually works and how does it work. But again, I mean, PR and good communication is a fundamental basis and a good layer, and you can spend as much as you want. If people then Google you and don't find any articles, you would not buy this new software product for a couple of $10,000 because say, is it really a serious company? Nobody wrote about them, nobody talks about them, right? And you want to spark curiosity also as a startup. And so the better question is how to get more bang for the buck and how to can integrate these things to make more out of it.
Absolutely, just exactly what Lori said. Be smart, be creative, working on those budget that you have. Keshav, of course, let's just, where are you? Hear it from you now. You're on mute.
Yeah, okay. Great points, and I concur with both the panelists here. The content marketing part of it is quite crucial when you want to highlight what the startup is capable of and what the story there is. However, I feel from my experience as both a founder, an advisor, and also as an investor, is that partnerships and distribution channels, again, which are sort of interrelated, are underrated when it comes to marketing a startup with little or no money. Just to give you an example, you can enter into revenue sharing partnerships with certain companies where they use their salespeople to sell the product, and once the product is sold, you have to part with a certain slice of the revenue, right? So that way you can get your product in front of the target market at next to nothing in terms of fixed and operating costs that you might incur if you build everything in-house, right? So that's number one. The second is, once you've got the PR channel established, once you've got all these partnerships in place, if you partner with a corporate or an association which will allow you to place your product into their portfolio, then you will suddenly have a much higher level of visibility. Citing from a personal experience, I built this app back in 2013, 2014, which gave people access to discount codes wherever they were in a certain geography. Okay. It took us about 8 months to onboard about 600 restaurants. Okay.
8 months.
8 months to onboard 600 restaurants to make our brand visible to that cohort of restaurants. But just one phone call and one meeting with one of the CXOs of Yum Brands, got us close to 16,000 outlets, including Pizza Hut, KFC, and what have you, into our into our database. And suddenly we were there, in front of 16,000 outlets in a matter of a few days, right? So that's the level of branding that you can look at if you have the right partner or if you have the right distribution channel, right? And again, we spent next to nothing on this. It was just investment into that relationship, into that phone call, and that was it. And startups, like I keep saying, often tend to ignore the value of referrals and partnerships, right? So it's crucial.
I think I really like and agree what Keshav is saying, because obviously he's been a founder himself. So coming from a founder to an investor, I think obviously you're speaking out of experience, So partnerships and referrals, and also mentioned before, Harsh, I guess, are very crucial, especially when you're tight in budget. So thank you so much, Keshav, for that. Next, I would request somebody to put on mute. Harsh, let's go next with you.
Sure. So definitely partnerships is one of the most crucial at this stage, right? So it's extremely important, when you're partnering with someone to give them something lucrative, right? What I typically observe is the founders who are looking to that kind of partnership. The reason why most of those partnerships fail is those founders aren't giving them a compelling enough offer for the bigger player to partner with them. And that's where unfortunately most partnerships fail, right? So that's where people like us, we come in, we help them negotiate with those big companies, big brands, because not only of the presence that we can bring, but also in structuring the offer, in negotiating the offer, which makes a lot of sense, right? So that is extremely important, which a lot of these early stage startups, they don't kind of think through what kind of offer that should be. So that's number one. Number two, if you look at it, the number one metric which I suggest at this point of time in the early stages is you need to look at your revenues and your performance marketing, right? If your revenues are more than your CAC, then you can simply just replicate this month on month. You'll never face any budgetary shortage, right? If you're putting 50,000 rupees of in Facebook ads in a month, and at the end of the month you're making 70,000 rupees, you just increase that money, right? So you no longer have this budgetary constraint. The budgetary constraint comes because the problem is people are selling their product for far too cheap. Because of that, what happens is they don't even recover their upfront costs. That's what causes a long term, a huge chain that you're putting in 50,000 rupees, you're getting 20, 30,000 rupees. There's only so much money that you can burn, right? On the other hand, you flip the offer in a way where when you put in 50,000 rupees, you make say 60,000 rupees or 70,000 rupees. So now on a month-on-month basis, you're making more money. So you simply kind of continue on that cycle, and you have endless supply of money. You'll literally never run out of money. So that mindset shift, that frame shift is required, because people think that unless you give things for free, you won't be acquiring new customers. So that is the biggest problem at this point of time.
Correct. And just to add that Harsh, there's this concept called incremental sales, which some of you would have come across, where there are companies, there are businesses which give you leads, qualified
Yep.
leads,
Yep.
and it's only when those leads convert that you pay them the money. So it's
Yep.
quite big these days.
Yeah.
And again, it's with little or no marketing budget.
Yeah. So what Keshav is referring to, that's called CPA marketing, CPA lead generation.
I think, Harsh, to your point, like giving free is something that actually is not in your support in scaling up is something that I can't figure out, because as a consumer, if I get something free, I get to try it for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always go for free first as a consumer mentality, consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two brands offering the same product. One of them is offering a free or a discount, as opposed to someone else who is not. But I'd rather test this one because it's free, right? Everybody rushes for free. I have seen people queuing up for free stuff, when they're doing promotions, sales, and all the stuff. Everybody's queuing up for this free promotions, free stuff. So I think that's something you need to consider.
No. So I'll add on to that, right? So typically what happens is you need to structure the offer a bit, right? That was my original point. So what typically you can do at this point of time is you can start off with a low ball offer upfront to kind of get them inside, and then you can complement that with an upsell. The thing is, once you can get the contact details, you can follow up with them on a monthly basis, right? I'm giving away way too many of my secrets, but that is essentially what you do. When you do that, that's when you realize that how much money that you make it on the upsell.
Okay, you do not. Okay, got it. You do not want to give away too much of your secrets. Okay, fine, understood now. Thank you, Harsh. Tushar, how are you feeling, Tushar?
Sorry, I didn't get your last line, Sunny.
I said, how are you feeling, Tushar?
Okay. I'm learning so much. I think I can open a startup tomorrow. So and
Smile.
Yeah. So I feel that yes, like Harsh said and Laurie said, so when we delve into the minute world of digital marketing, then even a small placement of a pop-up or running a contest or a giveaway, these things, they start mattering a lot more. Just like when we used to register on LinkedIn, it used to connect us through our Gmail contacts with all the people from our Gmail contacts who were on LinkedIn, and it has a potential to go viral. And these small changes, so even like if you have fresh, uh, very high quality content, proprietary content, you can give it away, but get the customers to sign a form and give their details out. And video marketing is something which, after TikTok, TikTok, in India itself, TikTok gathered 400 million customers, and this short video format, it proved to be tremendously attractive from the marketing angle. And TikTok's revenue shows, they are valued at more than $100 billion, because they are getting that kind of a revenue which reaches out to the levels of Facebook. And I think, apart from that, within digital marketing, influencer marketing and nano influencer marketing, especially with the just like TikTok, it made a lot of people nano influencers. And that is a way to cut cost, because having a known influencer will definitely cost you much more, not from a startup perspective. uh, so I think all these little bit things can go a long way.
Absolutely, very, very good. Rightly said, very, very, being very creative, in the
Right.
way you are trying to save
Right,
your
like
dollar.
Laurie said, creativity. Yeah.
Creativity, nano influencers, please ensure, because we are also in that space where we use influencers for certain products that we're trying to sort of bring out to the market, right? The NFTs. So yes, influencers and nano influencers. That's a great point, Tushar, to be noted. Thank you. Okay, coming over to Vandana. We are just conscious of the time, but Vandana, please, floor is all yours.
Thank you, Sunny. So the thing is that, when the pandemic hit us, many professionals lost their jobs. They wanted to get into entrepreneurship, but they didn't know basics like putting a WhatsApp story, a Facebook story, a LinkedIn story, enhancing their LinkedIn, posting stuff on these platforms. So I feel that, there are extremely creative ways, like one of the panelists did mention, in which startups can actually market themselves on social media without spending much money. And businesses often also use Instagram and Facebook for giveaways. These giveaways help startups in getting many followers and reaching to a wider audience, as it is essentially a peer-to-peer marketing technique and requires minimum effort. Also, I don't know if you've heard about affiliate marketing. Now, people want to bring us work. We give them a certain percentage of the work that they bring to us. So I think affiliate marketing also really helps. And also businesses have started creating challenges around their products. For example, Zomato has an ongoing challenge called No Cooking July, and using influencers on these platforms to advertise their products for them, which are contemporary ideas and helps in reaching out to the target audience easily. And also using collaborations with other companies is also a new marketing techniques that startups are using nowadays. This is the time to collaborate, going digital all throughout and collaborating with whoever one can to get a lot of business. And I think, initially we used to have these big business groups where people would go and ask for business and, market themselves, present a PPT. Now, I think just by sitting at home, one can engage with platforms like these, many other platforms, and use a lot of social media and digital content to market themselves, like even have Google reviews, on your if you go to Google, then there are some reviews written about you. and your company. So I think these small marketing techniques can really help you get good work and market yourself in a reasonable manner. You don't have to spend a lot.
I think totally agree. I mean, partnerships, as everybody said over here, partnerships, referrals, very, very key when you are early stage and you're tight on your budget. I really like that example, like no cooking drive, targeting all the housewives, and especially in a lockdown, the buy is not there, like the helper. So if everybody is just cooking at home, I think they get 1 month, like from Zomato, like we supply you food and you do not have to cook. That's a very good strategy. Thank you so much. Okay, great. We've come to the end of the show. Let's just quickly take some closing thoughts before we wrap up. I really enjoyed a lot of information coming from all of you today, and I have learned a lot as usual. Let's have a quick round of closing remarks, starting with Keshav. Over to you, please.
Thanks, Sunny. With regards to marketing, it's a specialist job. It's always better to have someone experienced, someone nuanced, someone who knows the market, who knows the subject matter and can package it for you. So have the right co-founder when you start the startup. That takes away a lot of pain that one would endure in the coming years. Well, with regards to reaching out to me, I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter at CK Adya. More about Adan Corporate can be found at www.adancorporate.com. And I would love to hear from you again.
So just want to know, Keshav, a little bit, what are you offering if somebody wants to reach out to you? Are you offering advisory services or investment?
Yes. It's a combination of equity, debt raises, mergers and acquisitions, corporate strategy, growth strategy, as well as investments in blockchain-related startups.
Great.
And I'm also an entrepreneur mentor in residence at London Business School, helping entrepreneurs and founders. That is
fabulous. So there you go. Thank you so much, Keshav. Laurie would like to know exactly your closing thoughts and also what are you offering if somebody would like to reach out to you.
Sure. So I think one of the things that we didn't really touch on, but would be crisis preparation. So you never know when a crisis will hit, and just really being able to think through how you want to react, or what could that plan potentially be. And the other piece on the PR side is, if you're going to land a piece in the New York Times, it's as a small startup, as a early stage startup, you can look right in your own backyard at like a local business journal or an industry publication, which helps gain that visibility. And you can visit my website, which is elsus.com, ELSSUS.com. And on there, you'll find an offer for a one-to-one advisory that works really well for early stage startups. And I'm on LinkedIn as Laurie Cecil Bonani, and my company is also on LinkedIn with some communication tips at Elsus on LinkedIn. Thank you again. Go ahead.
That's the website.
Yes.
SWS.com.
Exactly. And thank you again for having me today.
Yeah,
Thank
maybe
you.
I go next. I need to run out to the next meeting. So thank you very much for having me. It's really a big pleasure to be here in the round. And I just wanted to say it's important that you take the decision that good communication is mission critical for your startup, because you are here really like in a situation where there's a lot of competition and many companies don't want maybe you to succeed. And if you don't tell your story, someone else will. And you don't want that someone else is influencing your reputation and your message and whatever you want to say. And especially in startups, it is, right? There are two maybe doing similar things and they are going head to head. It's important to communicate clearly for all the reasons that matter to your startup, to win the best talents, to win and attract the best investors, to win new clients and to build your brand for the long term. And if you want to reach me, I'm on all usual channels. You can find me via Tilo Bono, my name on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever you feel comfortable and want to connect. I'm happy to follow me, connect with me, and I share also a lot of pieces of advice on these channels. And thank you very much again for having me, and hope that was helpful for all of you.
Thank you, Tilo. Of course, it was very helpful, and we definitely love to have you back.
Thank you.
On
Thank you.
Other shows of VCTV. Next, I have Tushar.
So we arrange equity venture capital from our relationship with more than 400 angel investors, which include family offices, VCs, and angel investors. I am on the panel of IIT Mumbai, IIT Delhi, IIT Madras, and IIT ISM Dhanbad. So on the entrepreneurship cells of all these four institutions. Besides, we also arrange for funding for VC funds. So that is another. I am available on LinkedIn by my name, Tushar Kansal. You can search. Not many Tushar Kansals are around. And also, you can see my videos on YouTube by searching my name, Tushar Kansal, and have appeared in more than 150 webinars since the last 1 year. And always a pleasure to be at VCTV. Thank you so much. Also, do check my corporate website, consultancy.com. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you. And it was a pleasure to be on the same panel with Laurie, with all the others. And thank you, Hasmik and Abil Bek as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Tushar, for being, sort of a friend, VCTV, core member and a friend. Thank you. Harsh?
Hi, thank you so much for this amazing session. A lot of great participants. Just final point I would like to add is, startups who are looking to grow right now, there's still possible, despite all the clutter, it's still possible to survive. Just focus on your messaging crystal clear, keep it very crystal clear, focus on a specific audience, and create a kick-ass offer. If you do these three things, even with a competitive market, you'll still be able to do pretty well. So that's my final note for this session. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, I do help startups with fundraise, as well as helping them come up with growth and marketing strategies, but at a reasonable cost, so that it becomes extremely easy to scale their business at least 5x within a single year.
Reasonable cost, and all the secrets will be shared. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vandana, over to you, please.
So thank you, first of all, Sunny, once again for having me here. I think just small things like putting a WhatsApp story, Facebook story can make you reach the skies. Even a simple thing like a LinkedIn story, whatever you do with your business, just keep posting it there and use all these tools for business. Also, keep your mind positive and do read the book Power of the Subconscious Mind. I could be reached out on my LinkedIn handle. I could be reached out on my website, www.convanto.com. And once again, thank you for having me here.
Awesome, fabulous. I think positivity, keeping a positive outlook and mindset is very important. I mean, obviously, this is that whatever you discussed about the strategies, the marketing strategies for a startup, it's all good, but having a positive attitude in life is very important, as Vandana rightly said. So thank you so much for today's show, all of you. Laurie, you've joined us for the first time. Chilo's just had to go off to another meeting. Core members, Vandana, Tushar, now Keshav. Thank you so much. And Harsh, sorry, I can't forget you. Thank you so much for your time and insights today. And I always love to be on this panel, moderating where the core members are there. Also, new members joining us. Thank you so much. And again, I'll be back on another episode. Until then, keep watching VCTV, keep supporting VCTV, and I'm going to see you again. Take care, all of you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.